I'm David, and this is David Talks.
And I'm April, and I'm on David Talks.
Okay. Well, you guys all know that I like to start off with my diaper awards, and it's a little strange because I'm not exactly sure if I can give this diaper award legitimately because I don't know who to give it to.
I'll start with mine.
What's yours?
I am giving my diaper award to all the people who are going around and scaring everyone related to the coronavirus.
Okay.
So like all the conspiracy theorists out there who are just like on social media and putting things out there. So if you're spreading things and you don't actually have the facts or you don't have any substance to back it up, and you're out there making people more afraid than we already are, because this is a very, very serious situation, a very scary situation, saying that, it's going to be,
What's that?
Like, oh, at this time, everybody be in the house and lock all your doors because they're going to start looting or, just...
Well, I did get a chain letter from somebody, one of my friends on Facebook Messenger. He said at, I believe it was 12:15 or 12:30 until 3:30. The 5G network is going to be, I think, doing some type of radiation poisoning through the phones. I think everybody, I mean, in all fairness, people that are spreading it, they probably just want to be better safe than sorry. It just makes...
But how if they have no...
I know.
If it's true and you actually know these things, then
how can you know it's true?
Fine. If the person, I don't know how they would know, but if you do and you're kind of like informing people, fine. But for those of you who are out there just spreading things with no substance to back it up, and you just want to feel like you're, like something more than someone else, and you're like throwing all these things out there, I'll give you 5 diapers.
That's some serious numbers. 5?
Yeah, because
5 out of 5.
It's already such a scary situation.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give them about 3.5 diapers. I actually do agree with you on a lot of levels. I do believe people might want to research, and it's hard because what do you research? What exactly do you research when you don't actually understand what's happening and you're hearing different things about let's talk about 5G. The 5G network, from my understanding, and I've heard this way before from scientists, that it's highly dangerous and it's a tremendous amount of radiation. I have heard that. I don't know. And we have heard rumors that
how do we know that they're scientists?
Well, we don't, but
that's the thing.
We do rely. We do rely on YouTube. We go to YouTube to fix our televisions or to put together a computer. I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
right.
Who else do we go to? I mean, we do rely on social media. Social media is a huge part of our lives at this point. And by the way, let me just say this. This is April 4th, 2020. This is the year, and this is a historical time in history in the world, by the way.
Definitely, I agree.
For those dates, because I know that Ethiopia, they have a different calendar. They're like some years behind. I'm not sure right now. I used to know that, but I don't believe they're even in the 2000s yet. They might be. Okay. So there's different calendars, all right? So I'm going to just say for most of the world, right now we're in America, New York City. So just in case somebody sees this one day, they understand what's going on.
Right.
And also, my diaper award goes to if there is somebody out there purposely inducing this type of thing because of the possibility. Now, this might be conspiracy theories. But let me just say, the Spanish influenza in 1918, I believe, to 1920.
Right? I think so.
Yes. From my understanding, when I Googled, again, I didn't get this from a book, but on Google, where we get most of our information from these days, it said 50 to 100 million people fatality worldwide. And we was talking a little bit earlier, and you said, do I think history is repeating itself? And
right.
I think it is for different reasons, though. I guess some are conspiracy theories, but I kind of do believe that there are certain people that believe that we're overpopulated. And I have learned that in a lot of different societies, they've always done different things because they did feel like people were being overpopulated throughout history.
Sounds like Thanos.
Sounds like Thanos. And by the way, Thanos is one of my, first off, the Endgame, Marvel, Disney makes movies for them. Their characters, it's all fictional.
I should have worn my Avengers gear.
Yeah. One of our favorite movies. Thanos is a fictional character, and he believed that the world was overpopulated. For people that do not know this,
Spoiler alert.
This tape might be seen 100 years from now, so they'll be like, what are they talking about? But what I would say is Thanos believed that his world was destroyed because it was overpopulated, and he had all this technology, and they didn't want to believe him, and he believed that it was too many people, blah, blah, blah.
And also that there weren't enough resources. I think that was the main thing. There weren't enough resources to consume, for the amount of people.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he believed that it was his responsibility to collect these precious stones around the universe.
So he thought it was his responsibility to make the world better, because instead of everyone suffering for resources, food and things like that, if he cut the population in half, then the people who were actually living would have a better life, and then it was random. So it's not like he chose the
That's
people.
true. He did say that. He didn't matter if they were rich, poor,
right.
superhero, or whatever. It didn't matter to him, except I don't think he was interested in doing anything to his personal army, by the way.
True.
I don't think his
it wasn't as random as he said it was.
Yeah, I think he would have not done anything to his personal army.
Did he have control over that? Maybe, right?
Yeah, he had control over it because Iron Man had control over it.
So how did he do it, though?
Iron Man?
No, Thanos, how did he...
Well, when he did it, the only people that was like disappearing was like the Black Panther,
like all of the Avengers, like half of the
Avengers. A lot
Avengers.
of the Avengers, all the super stars of the Avenger series, and I didn't see any of his people.
That is true.
Yeah, and so I think he was a little selective. I mean, he did. I would say, to answer your question, he did have control over it.
Well, we could say the same thing if somebody is
what's that?
Purposely putting this virus out. They
certain
probably
people
have control over the groups or maybe the countries or the places that they wanted to spread to.
I'm just saying, it's just, I get it. So I would say some people's immune systems are stronger than others, if that's actually really truly the case. We do have, in a short period of time, this started, about a month or two ago?
About 2 months ago.
Right? And we have like about 1,300 people fatality over the coronavirus in New York City, I believe.
Well, we've dropped. From 75% of the cases being in New York City to 60.
Whatever.
But that's just a percentage. That doesn't mean there's less people. That just means that it's picking up in other parts of New York, like Long Island, for example.
Got it. And I remember there was a concentrated area in Long Island where they were saying they had some people under quarantine for some time, and I don't know exactly the full story on that.
I'm not sure. But
I do recall it, and I remember that being one of the first kind of like cases in New York. It's just we just have to like, it's like such a different way of life. Like right now, we're all like smiling and laughing and joking, and I think it's really important that we do continue to live our lives, you know. And it doesn't mean that I'm, you know, my condolences for everyone that's lost people and just it's insane, you know. But it's really important that, you know, we continue to do what we can do to, you know, to live.
Yeah, I agree. Do what we can do to live. Try to be as normal as we can. And this is a time to pay it forward and to, you know, just appreciate each other. You know, help someone out if you can. You know, maybe if you have like an elderly neighbor, it's more
Well, that's debatable.
unsafe for them to go out, so maybe you can go to the store for them if you're going for yourself, or you know.
Well, you know, just so you guys understand that, you know, people. But first off, I'm talking such a past tense situation. A lot of people watching this video know exactly what's going on, and they know that people walking around with gloves on, they walk around with face masks. Mm-hmm. We have lines that are like stretching for like I would say a third of a mile, some mm-hmm. like in BJ's.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, we have like the lines. I don't know what, you know. It's what they call social distancing, where people
right.
have at least 6 feet of space between them,
mm-hmm.
To prevent the spread. If you cough in your arm, and
well, that's always some things have actually always been in play that people never actually took serious until now. So things
they probably
like
did
hand
before.
washing. I mean, you'd be surprised the people who do not wash their hands when as often as they should. Coughing into the elbow. People who do not practice that. Yeah.
Well, they do say that, like, if you know, it would last for a certain amount of hours in the air. You know, metal, couple of hours, different cloths, clothing.
Yeah, they survive on surfaces for a couple of hours.
Which is insane.
No, I mean, the flu does as well.
The flu.
Mm-hmm. They say it's very similar to the flu.
Interesting. And yes, we do know people. We know a lot of people die from the flu every year.
Despite vaccinations and some immunity towards it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of crazy because it's like, you would think by now that they would have found a cure for that, period.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, that's a big, strong force in our lives that's going on worldwide. I think it's interesting in New York City. You know, they're made a couple of different suggestions for people. Other states in America, they have like curfews where people like don't hang out at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Bars are closed at a certain time.
Well, I think all the bars are pretty much closed.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right. All
well, actually,
bars
I can't say that. I don't know if every state, but I'm pretty sure it's like.
I think you're right. But restaurants, like fast food restaurants.
Well, let's talk about what's happening here in New York City.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So, in New York City, if you're not serving food, then you're closed. So if you're a bar establishment that doesn't also serve food, then you basically can't open. If you are selling food, then it has to be to go.
Right.
You cannot sit in any restaurant and eat.
Right.
All of our like barbershops, hair salons, any non-essential businesses are closed basically.
Yep.
So non-essential and this may not be all of them, but off the top of my head would be like pharmacies, supermarkets, a lot of the like telephone companies, they've closed a lot of locations, but then they'll have a few that are open. What else is considered non-essential? Like hardware stores, I believe, are open.
Some electrical stores I've seen closed down.
Yeah, I mean, we have like the Dollar Tree open. So if you sell kind of like food and household products, then you're allowed to be open. But then also a lot of these stores have they've changed their hours, so they're not open. You know, like maybe Target. I mean, I don't know for sure what Target's hours are now, but I mean they used to open at like 7 in the morning and close at like 10. So maybe they're open from 9 to 6 now, or something like that.
Starbucks is what, drive-through only?
Starbucks is drive-through only, and we passed by a McDonald's and a Popeyes today in a like a little mini mall. And their drive-through line was really, really long as well. So I was wondering too if maybe they're also doing drive-through only.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's probably at manager or corporate's discretion.
Probably based
how
by the
they want to go by
franchise.
it. Yeah. There's a lot of people who are really, really afraid to work.
We met someone today who had a little pastry shop or a candy shop, or what would you call it?
I would call it a
pastry/candy novelty
bakery. You could add bakery to it.
You could add bakery. But she said that today actually was going to be her last day open,
right? Because
she just wanted to do right by her customers and by the community. So she, just couldn't stand if someone contracted coronavirus from being in her store, right, because maybe someone else had it, and also to protect herself and her, her family as well. Because
her name was Aurea, I believe.
Aurea. Yeah. What is the name of the place?
I can't think of that place. But it's like a really nice place.
It's so cute, yeah.
It's like Willy Wonka's candy factory in like a small little space.
Yeah.
And she was selling like really like the first sodas and old things. Mm-hmm. It was kind of cool. It was pretty nice.
So it's, like for me, I know, I'm like, oh, this is so depressing.
So she said she's going to close for 3 months, by the way.
She said maybe about 3 months, yeah.
Then what about the driving attendant, the parking attendant?
Who said he stopped working because he's just scared.
Yeah, he's afraid.
People are afraid.
It's and for those essential workers, God bless you guys. Seriously, it's like, it's such a crazy thing that, you go to work in fear.
Basically dying. Contracting it.
Contracting. We don't really know if people could become carriers, so they could bring this home.
Yeah, because they say you can spread it days before you start feeling symptoms. So I don't know exactly how many days. I think it's like maybe 2 or 4 days. I know people have different routines, so
they come home, they have an area. They take off all their clothes. They wash it. It's a crazy thing. That's just from like nurses and doctors and maintenance people that work in the hospitals and clinics. Like, radiation. I mean, like different people that's doing different tasks in the hospitals.
It's a lot.
And other places too. Like anywhere, like the grocery store, the pizza shop.
Right. Just anywhere.
Just walking the streets,
you go,
regular people.
Life is different. I mean, it doesn't even, working in the hospitals, that's been very, very challenging, for like, the nurses, the doctors, but, the hospitals have a large staff and everything is different for everyone. I mean, the mortality rates,
has to be higher.
So much higher. The fear of going in and contracting something, the fear of going to work every day, and you don't know if you have loved ones at home, if you're going to bring something back to them.
I believe it's a proven fact.
It's a big psychological aspect of it as well, especially for the essential workers. I mean, we talked about we heard on the radio today about all the police officers that
oh my goodness, they said about 1,800 police officers tested positive.
Right. And that was in New York City, right? Was that
in New York City?
New York City.
Mm-hmm. And they had a couple of fatalities with New York Police Department testing positive and and dying.
Imagine this, like, we've all become like homeschooling parents and
yep. Children are doing schoolwork at home now.
Yeah.
People are working at home. For those
who are able to work at home,
yeah, you gotta feel a lot safer. And I think it's a proven fact that fear weakens the immune system itself. So if you're just working in fear,
like stress.
all day, weakens your immune system, and you're working around people that could potentially kill you, and that's like a real serious situation. Yeah. I mean, and we could talk about this
forever,
literally forever. But this is the most craziest thing going on.
I would say, on a lighter note, like, what is it that you guys are doing to help you get through this? You know, like, how are you coping without being able to do the normal things that we used to do, like go visit a friend or go to the movies, or, you know, call up a girlfriend and, hey, let's go to the club, or, you know, whatever it is that you usually did that you can't do anymore? How are we all coping? How are you coping?
Well, it's really, really difficult to stay in the house for like 6 days straight.
It's so hard.
You know, you try to prepare for this. When I first heard of this, I did take this serious. It sounds serious to me. I did tell people, close people to me, I sent them messages. I didn't make a big deal about it. And for whatever reason, like, except for one person gave me some different type of feedback, didn't really want to take this situation seriously. I guess they needed more proof. Everybody else I know took it very seriously, and, you know, they went and got a lot of water, a lot of canned goods. We understand canned food is not healthy, but I don't know, it beats not eating, I would say, right? You know, and then I don't think we actually are totally prepared, because we don't know the end result of how this is going to go. So we can only try to prepare as much as possible and try to educate ourselves and try to understand this situation. And I know that, like, it's funny, because what I learned is in different countries, what they have done, like, let's say Ukraine, for instance, they closed their airports so people can't get in and people can't leave, but they haven't closed their stores down. Everybody is operating like they always have before. But they do have some cases of people testing positive. So I just find that a little bit interesting, that that's still happening, that they wouldn't practice that same type of, and maybe they feel like, you know what, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I don't know. For all we know, we all probably infected, and some people's bodies are able to handle this, and maybe they aren't.
Right.
You know? But I like going to the movies. You know,
I love going to the movies.
Anybody that knows me knows I've literally gone to the movies by myself so many times. I mean, so many times I can't count. That's how much I like to go to the movies. I like long drives. I like fresh air. I do like to go to a club, you know, more or less to say hi to friends. You know, I got a lot of friends that hang out in clubs. A lot of, you know, coworkers I've worked with. You know, people that I'm really close with. You know, this is where we meet at to say hi and greet each other. I do miss that, and I do see people online a lot, so that's cool. People are staying active. You know, we are making the best of the situation, and honestly, things would be truly different if we didn't have social media. I mean, seriously different. If we did not have social media to be able to, you know, TV is one thing. TV was so controlled by usually 1 or 2, 3, 4 people, where they say, this is what we're going to put on for y'all to watch. This is what we want you to watch. That's not nearly enough. You know, for us, we would be really alienated from each other. I mean, it would be insane. We could communicate and we could just FaceTime each other, or, you know, there's so many video networks now where we could just do real life, real time talks and things like that, which is great. So social media definitely has its perks, and that's definitely one of them. For us to be able to broadcast and then put this out there now, this is a great thing. I believe that it's good that we're able to talk to each other and kind of say, oh wow, you know what, you're going through exactly what I'm going through. It makes you feel a little bit better about what's going on, you know. I think that's really important. you know, how about you? What's different in your life now that this situation, this pandemic? I mean, because it's that serious. Um, what?
Well, what's different? The homeschooling is very different.
Right.
The working from home is very different, and then for me, I don't know how long I'll be working from home before I'm an essential worker before I have to actually be called in. So it's kind of like a day-to-day waiting game. I don't know what's going to happen from day to day. I don't know when that call is going to come in and they're like, hey, show up to this place, and definitely just that feeling of not being able to do things, even if you didn't do them often, but knowing that you were able to do them. So the movies, like you said, is one of them. It's Saturday night, to not, maybe I don't go out that often, but to know you have the option of calling up one of your girlfriends and saying, hey, you know what, you want to go and get something to eat and, just to get out the house. Today's actually one of my friend's birthdays, and, we can't celebrate it how we would want to. So, I suggested us doing like a little virtual hangout. There's like a group of us that usually hang out, and
nice.
Like, oh, we should just all like do a video call and have some drinks and have a virtual hangout.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just the little things, like I actually called my mom the other day and I said, Mom, when do you think you'll be up for visitors? And she's like, I don't know. I mean,
wow.
And
you still want to get your mom an iPhone so that way
right.
she can...
My mom is not like really technical, especially when it comes to phones and things. So my sisters, we talked about getting her an iPhone so we could be able to FaceTime her because we all have iPhones.
Yeah, I worry too about iPhone. FaceTimed my mother, and she had the mask on and she had the gloves on, and going to the bank, she's online, and the 6 feet, and she went to the store, which reminds me, she put something on my tab. I gotta pay. Yeah, because the guy in the store, he didn't want to charge my mom, so he was just like, yeah. He was on FaceTime. He's like, you'll pay when you get here. So that's nice to be able to even laugh. Like anything that can make you laugh is such a great thing.
Spending time with family. I'm actually, I don't want to say forced to spend time with my family, with the people that I actually live with, but I'm forced to spend time with the people that live in a household with me. We have nowhere to go.
I guess in a way, some people probably would understand not spending any time with their, growing up without their parents, period. So that might have made certain situations better for some people. People that work all day, the whole 9 to 5 is usually a more like a 7 to 7 because of all the traveling and et cetera, et cetera. You're out the house 12 hours, you get home, trying to spend time with your kid if you have one, or your partner, or whatever the case may be. It's difficult. This is certainly the situation certainly has its pros and its cons. Even in this terrible situation. But again, there's a lot of people that's out of work. A lot of people have been forced to close businesses down. I run a business. We was forced to close down. Financially, suffering tremendously. It's a big difference financially for me. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that are in very similar situations. They do have options where people could apply for public assistance, cash assistance, food assistance. You have unemployment, so you do have different options. I know people that apply for unemployment still haven't received any currency or cash.
Yeah, I actually know someone who's still trying to apply for unemployment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they're still trying to call and get through and get everything.
It's insane. I'm just gonna say this, guys. There's nothing wrong with applying for any of these agencies that we've been, whether we like it or not. For those people that do pay taxes, and I don't have anything against necessarily people that don't pay taxes, because people have different situations where they can't get work on the books, but they want to take care of their families. Let's be real, people. That's a real thing. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with applying for any type of assistance. You do not have a job. You have to survive. You have to eat. You have to feed your family. You have to pay your bills. Nothing is wrong with it. Don't feel ashamed. You know, I'm going to try to, you know, start working again anyway. But if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You know, I'm not gonna feel bad or feel like a failure. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. You know, and it is that serious. Again, how much better do people have it that are working? It all depends. It's all perspective.
Right.
People that are working are in more danger, because they're constantly around people for the most part. And yes, we know there's probably people out there that work from home anyway, and that works out for them. But for how long? And it you know, being like, I would say, in a situation where you don't like socialize at all is not necessarily, it can't possibly be healthy to alienate. You know, you're good and you're safe and you're not, you know, exposed to anything, but you're confined by yourself. It has to. I could probably drive somebody nuts. You're safe and you're healthy, but it's just you there.
Right.
You know.
If
So
you live alone and you don't use social media and you don't have an up-to-date
oh my goodness
phone.
gracious. And then you can't really, then you're just like, you don't want to go outside. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Some people are just not going outside at all.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I know some family members, they just
Kudos to that.
deliver food. Everything is delivered.
That is an option, right?
Well, it's an option, except that whoever's delivering your food contaminates your bag and your food. Let's be real here.
Well, you know what? When they bring it in, because the virus only lives for a couple of hours, just leave it on the floor. You know, leave it somewhere for a couple of hours before you put it away.
That is an option. That is definitely an option. But let's try to change this whole entire subject around, if that's even possible.
Let's do it. On a lighter note.
On a lighter note, I want to talk about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I just want to say, I appreciate your energy. I really do. I know that it's really, really, truly important to you to be as humble as possible. You know, I seen a little video of you. You was crying. You admitted you was crying, and you said that you're scared of the old Mike Tyson coming out. You know, but you miss him, is what you said. And I can't understand you, but I can understand being a certain way in your life where you're violent. You grow up in the streets, you know, and that's all you know. And you're just protecting yourself. And a lot of people may not understand that, but I do. You know, and I've done things in my life that I wish I would have never done myself. And I remember like asking God to forgive me and just asking people to forgive me. And, you know, I could understand on that level, truly changing oneself and truly meaning it and truly atoning. You know, it's a deep thing and it's a serious thing. You know, you're just saying, you know what, this was me. This is clearly not me anymore. You know, that meant a lot to me. I appreciate that. It shows a lot of strength, and it also spreads strength. You know, it makes someone definitely feel like myself feel even more powerful mentally. You know, just want to say, Mike Tyson. You know, I always loved the way you fought. You know, I boxed a little bit myself, and you know, I trained kids. Well, I used to train kids all the time. 6th to 8th graders how to box in public schools, and mainly girls, because not for any particular reason except that I think it's important that young women understand that they also strong too. You could do anything that you want to do, no matter what. That's important to me, and that was nice to see. I heard the story also about that other boxer. I forget his name. He approached you and he was saying that you came in a park one day in Brooklyn, and everybody started running, because they was afraid of you, and he was so afraid to run, but he glad that he stood there, and he wanted to be like you. He became a boxer, and you was really humble about that, and you was remembering who raised him. Anyway, that was a big thing for me. I could talk about Mike Tyson for a long time, but just want to give Mike Tyson acknowledgement for being a great person. I don't think people understand, I think it's important. Certain figures like Muhammad Ali, a lot of great things he said in his lifetime made a huge difference on how people think and how they feel about themselves, things like that. So you got anything, I don't know, something good going on?
Well, I could say, I think we've all done things in our lives that, we may regret.
Right.
And it's definitely a big thing to see that within yourself and be able to make the changes. Change is very hard.
Right.
And most people, I feel like, over their lifetime don't change much.
Unfortunately.
Right. So that's great. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. What else? There's got to be so many things going on in the world. So what else is going on? Tonight's Saturday. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna either rent or buy a movie that's out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really want to see The Invisible Man.
Hey, why not?
I've been wanting to see that for a while. I didn't get a chance to see it in the movie theater.
Yeah, The Invisible Man looks pretty interesting.
Close it down. What do you want to see? Is there anything in particular you want to see?
I do want to see Star Wars.
Okay.
I still want to see Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably long. It's probably 3 hours. Definitely want to see Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna enjoy that. I would say we're gonna go to the movies, kinda.
We can pop popcorn and
Actually, it's much more comfortable to watch them. And I've always, actually, ironically, always wanted to watch a movie that's coming out at home on a clear, not a bootleg movie.
Right.
And just be already there. That's worrying about traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people that you don't really want to sit next to. Let's be honest now.
It's not so bad anymore since they have the new seats.
Depending. You got those people that always talking in the movies.
But what about...
Matter of fact, that's my diaper award. For those people when you're in the movies and they like this. Oh snap! What? I'm like, how many? Come on now, you heard some absurd things in the movies.
Of course, yeah. They're usually funny to me though. They're usually some funny outbursts.
Sometimes you get a funny guy.
They're always funny to me. I knew she was gonna be the first to go. I knew it.
Uh-oh. You know what's gonna happen, right?
Oh, you have I know one time my son, it was a little kissing scene and he's like, ew, and he said it so loud and everybody was laughing.
That's so funny. Because when he get older, he gonna be kissing. Isn't that something how they teach us that? That's nasty.
Yeah, so it's ew. I don't know, but what about, you have your tickets, you pick your seats, and it never fails. It never fails that you come in and there's someone in your seat, and then they try to direct you well, sit there. There's no one sitting in the seats next to us,
exactly.
next to you, or. So one time, actually, when I went to the movie theater, me and my girlfriend, And obviously we wanted 2 seats next to each other. Usually I buy tickets online, but this particular time it was like a spur of the moment thing, so we went to the movie theater and bought the tickets there. Wasn't a lot of seats left, and it was supposed to be 2 seats next to each other. We get in the movie and we tell everyone, A1 and 2. Okay. We get inside the theater and someone is sitting in A1 or 2. Yeah. And we didn't even look at the tickets. We're like, no, those are our seats. Those are our seats. And the guy is like, he was nice. He's like, okay. So his seat though was like 2 seats over from where his friends were. Mm-hmm. And then we look at our tickets and we're like, wait a minute, this is not even, she didn't give us A1 and 2. She gave us like A1 and 3. Right. So it kind of worked out though, because so we're like, you know what, why don't you sit here and sit next to your friends, and then that way we were able to sit next to each other. Wow. But it was like the same person screwed up their seats and screwed up ours. But it worked out. It worked out.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that bothers me a lot when I go to about to sit down and somebody looks at me like, I'm looking at them like, this is my seat. They be like, a seat's a seat.
Right.
I'm just gonna wait for you to move out the way until they move out the way. Like, go sit somewhere else. I don't got time for this.
Right.
I mean, I don't have nothing against anybody either, getting into a movie free or not. But once somebody's about to sit down, just move out the way. Make it easy and simple for everybody, so everybody can feel good and just enjoy it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in your seat. Let me move over here. Okay,
right.
This is you?
That's my thing. Yeah,
I'll be like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And just keep things light.
I find, though, that it's not that someone snuck into the movie theater. It's that they didn't get the seat selection that they wanted.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, that's usually what I find. They have a seat somewhere, that's undesirable for them. Or maybe they couldn't get the seats together, with the people that they wanted, and so they kind of like take the seats because maybe this person won't show up.
Yeah,
maybe this person won't mind. Maybe nobody actually ordered these seats.
Yeah, maybe my mind is probably a little bit more cynical than hers. When I was young, I used to be sneaking into movie theaters. I don't know about y'all.
I feel like people don't really sneak into the movie theaters like they used to.
Probably.
It's a little harder to do, I guess.
I was like 9 years old. I used to be scared though. I used to be like, I don't want to get caught. And I'll just go into the next theater. I'm like,
I kind of like to watch a movie from the beginning to the end.
Right.
So it's a little difficult for me to like sneak into a movie because it's never starting when you want it to start.
Funny thing is, I remember when people used to think they were sneaking into movies, and ushers be like, just go,
yeah.
Go watch another movie.
I mean, I've seen movies for free. Get cool with the what do you call them? The people who
ushers, security.
Not the security, but the people who take your stubs.
Oh,
you go early enough,
agents.
Right? You go early enough when it's not crowded and.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's true. I don't think there is no more. I think if you go into the theater, you just see. But if that ticket's not yours, obviously you gotta move. Like simple things,
right?
Yeah. So those fun days are over. No, I'm just funny.
So funny.
What else is going on in the world? Oh my goodness.
Good stuff. Drake just came out and dropped a new song.
Oh, Drake's song. We gotta learn that dance. Right foot up, left foot out, slide something. How's it go? You know the words. Lyrics.
Not yet.
Not yet. It just came out. It just came out. Drake came out. What is it called?
Though.
The song is called
Tootsie Roll or Tootsie Dance or Tootsie Foot.
Tootsies. We should know that. Just came out.
Hey Siri, what's the name of Drake's new song?
Drake's most popular song is Tootsie Slide.
Tootsie Slide. There you go.
Tootsie Slide. Oh my God.
Tootsie Slide.
You see how we living now? All we gotta do is talk, and the computer's gonna answer it. Wow, we can ask that thing on just about anything.
Hey Siri, what year was the Spanish flu?
It happened from the 1st of January 1918 to the 1st of December 1920 and worldwide.
All right, there you go. We got it. Anything else?
We were right. No, I think we're good.
You think we're good?
We could ask a lot of questions. Yeah, I have a lot in my head too. I think we're good for now, and I'm sure after this we'll be like, wait a minute, we could have talked about this, and we could have talked about this and this. We'll save it for another time. Okay, guys.
Well, thank you for inviting me on your show.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
All right.
And thanks for watching David Talks. Much love. See you again.